Welcome to the Buddhism Guide podcast. I'm Yeshi Rabgay, and this episode is called Cultivating Hope and Trust, Breaking the Chains of Cynicism. This podcast is free and independent due to member support, and thank you to everyone who supports the show. If you're interested in supporting my work, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/Buddhism Guide. And if you'd like to see more of my content, then please visit my website, yeshirabgay.com. In this episode, I'll be talking about the difference between cynicism and skepticism, and why cynicism is not really good for us, but a little bit of skepticism can be helpful. So let's begin. Cynicism seems to have become a quite frequent attitude today. We can easily slip into cynicism given the constant exposure to news about deception, corruption, failure, fake news, which makes us see things through distrustful and negative eyes. Now, it's fine to be cautious and question things, but when skepticism turns into cynicism, it becomes dangerous because we no longer even believe that others are well-intentioned. This podcast discusses the risks of cynicism, its impact on our thoughts or actions, how it differs from skepticism, and ways in which we can promote hopefulness. Cynicism is defined as general mistrust of others' motives. We often think that self-interest is what drives people when we're cynical. This way of thinking can have devastating consequences for our mental health and personal relationships. Cynics find it difficult to appreciate the good in others or even take note of positive deeds done by them. When everybody seems untrustworthy, there may be missed connections or partnerships that could have been meaningful if only we viewed all others without doubt. This all-embracing mistrust bars us from being close to those around us, thus causing alienation and even loneliness. The effects of cynical thoughts on our minds are vast. It can create a mindset where we only see the negative in others or the world around us. In situations where nothing will change for the better, it makes it difficult to act or be involved in our communities. This type of thinking may lead us to apathy, where we no longer care about matters that concern us. Without hope, trying to find ways and believing that our efforts matter may become a very difficult task. Cynicism stifles both creativity and motivation, which leaves us trapped in negativity. To better understand cynicism, one must distinguish it from skepticism. Skepticism is a healthy outlook where an individual searches for evidence and thinks critically. A skeptic may have doubts about whether certain claims are valid or what motivates actions, but does so open-mindedly, being ready to consider new pieces of information. On one hand, skepticism promotes inquiry and dialogue, whereas cynicism usually results in dismissal and withdrawal. The skeptic is positive as to there being truth as well as things becoming better, while a cynic expects the worst from things. In this case, cynicism is like a lawyer who searches for evidence that supports what they already believe, focusing only on one side of the story. And on the other hand, skeptics think like scientists do when they test their theories and look for relevant information. They challenge their assumptions and actively pursue evidence. Cynicism can present a huge obstacle to hope and trust as well. Trust is fundamental in personal relationships, workplaces, and society at large. If we're cynical, it will be hard to believe that others mean well. As a result of this lack of trust, there is conflict and misunderstanding, hence creating a poisonous atmosphere where cooperation among people becomes almost impossible. In relationships, cynicism can bring about bitterness and alienation, which hinder intimacy with others. This mistrust also spreads into broader social problems, whereby people lose faith in leaders and institutions, thereby breeding hopelessness concerning collective progress. Hope is vital for our welfare and drive. We can imagine a better future through it and work towards realizing it. When we lose hope, we accept the status quo. Cynicism can rob us of this vital sense of possibility, making it easy to dismiss efforts for change as vital. Without hope, we may stop supporting important causes or engaging in community initiatives, further perpetuating a cycle of negativity. So, how do we become less cynical? To reduce cynicism, we need to undergo attitude changes together with implementing strategies. One effective way to combat cynicism is to constantly seek out positive stories and actions in the midst of negative news headlines. This might entail following social media accounts that celebrate uplifting stories or associating with communities that value kindness and support. By immersing ourselves in positivity, we can begin to change our outlook and recognize that good intentions and actions do exist. Practicing gratitude is also another way. By taking time each day to consider what we're grateful for, our focus can be taken away from negativity. Gratitude helps us to see and appreciate the good moments and allows us to feel like we belong. When we recognize what's right, the world begins to appear a more nurturing place, thereby helping us overcome cynical thoughts. Also, talking openly and honestly with others can reduce cynicism. Our assumptions can be challenged through sharing ideas and hearing different perspectives, hence giving us an opportunity to understand people's motivations better. It can promote empathy so that we start thinking of others as unique human beings and not just as selfish types of individuals. Trusting through dialogue may help restore hope in our relationships and communities. Moreover, one must act, even if it seems small. In a world full of problems, we can easily dive into cynicism. Nevertheless, even small actions towards change, like volunteering, standing up for what is right, or just being good to those around us, empower us and give us feelings that we're not alone in the universe. Such deeds also bolster our confidence that we can make a difference. Bit by bit, they eat away at our cynicism. We can also use mindfulness techniques like meditation and deep breathing to become more conscious of our thoughts and feelings. With this approach, we're able to see beyond negative thoughts which circulate our minds about cynicism. By being mindful, an individual stays connected with the present moment, thus experiencing peace and acceptance. This makes it easier to let go of negativity and view things from a more positive standpoint instead. So to sum up, although cynicism can act as a barrier to disappointment, it eventually inhibits our capacity to bond with others and be happy. If we comprehend the hazard that cynicism puts us into and consciously choose trust and hope, we will see how much more fulfilling life can be. However, if we embrace skepticism without crossing the line into cynicism, we can question the world around us while still having faith that good is possible. In order to change our perspective and also contribute towards a more positive and hopeful world, we need gratitude, positive involvement, open discussions, mindfulness, and a growth mindset. So that's it for this episode. I hope you found it of some benefit, and don't forget to check out my website, yeshirabgay.com, or follow me on Instagram at yeshi_rabgay. So, until the next time, bye for now.